Why is Mallital called Mallital and Tallital is called Tallital?
Sir, that's the local dialect. Mallital means the upper side of the tal. So it is that side. Tallital means the Talli side of the tal. That is the downside.
Tell me the names of some good schools in Nainital.
Sir, there is one Sherwood school that is very famous. Amitabh Bachchan studied from there.
Even I did.
It should be in the reverse order actually. You've taken offense.
Any other?
And then there is St. Joseph's one.
Girls schools?
Girls schools. There are indeed some really good girls schools. One Sun Valley. There is another school called Sun Valley School.
St. Mary's and All Saints.
St. Mary's, All Saints. Yes. Right.
Correct?
Right, sir.
Is St. Stephen's as a college overhyped?
No, sir. I do not think so.
Why not?
Because I think we had our USP as a college is we have the best alumni network. So at one point of the time, the cabinet secretary, P.K. Sinha was a Stephanian. Then the CAG, he was a Stephanian. The
Not
chief
the
justice.
point.
Sir?
I'm not asking who all passed out of Stephen's.
yes,
I'm
sir.
asking that is it overhyped as of today?
No, sir. I do not think so. I think St. Stephen's is one of the best colleges in DU, and I've been to other colleges as well. And I've seen I've seen other colleges as well. So in our college, there is actually studies happening. We go to the class regularly. That's the thing. Because in other colleges, do not conduct classes as frequently as our college does.
You have appeared for the Central Armed Police Forces exam.
So I had only filled the form. I did not go.
What's the Central Armed Police Force?
So sir, it is the police force that is under control of the center. So
how many can you name?
There is CRPF, then there is BSF, then there is SSB, then there is ITBP, and then there is Assam Rifles as well, but that is under the operational command of the army.
What's a paramilitary force?
So paramilitary force is a force that is below military. It is not properly militarized.
So are these CAPFs
Yes,
paramilitary forces?
Yes, sir, they are indeed paramilitary because they use advanced weapons like automated rifles and LMGs and SMGs.
Paramilitary forces, of course, designed on the lines of the light infantry of the army.
Right.
Your father is an additional district judge.
Yes.
Tell me the kinds of courts that are there at the district level.
So first, it is divided into two parts. So the first is the criminal court and the civil court. So under civil court, there is civil judge, junior division and senior division, and the jurisdiction differs based on the pecuniary things. And then on the criminal side, there is judicial magistrate 1 and judicial magistrate 2. Then moving above that, we have the districts and sessions court. The district court deals with the appeal matters in the civil domain, and the sessions court deals with
the district and sessions judge is one and the same.
Yes, sir.
So we have a district and session judge in a district. We also have a chief judicial magistrate.
Yes, sir.
What's the difference between the two?
So, sir, chief judicial magistrate oversees and adjudicates the criminal cases. Then if there is an appeal from that court, it goes to the district and sessions court.
At which level which is the lowest level of a judge who can award the death penalty?
So it is the districts and sessions judge.
And is that enough? Suppose I'm a district judge, I give somebody death penalty. That's
no, sir. It is mandatory to be appealed in the High Court.
The High Court has to confirm
yes,
it.
Right. It is mandatory.
Thank you.
Anshul, you've had history as a subject.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right?
History, yes.
There's a lot of discussion going on that the present government is trying to rewrite history. Do you agree? And if not, then why? If yes, then why?
So, sir, history has always been written. So I think the present government is not rewriting it, maybe rectifying some mistakes, as they say. But I couldn't see anything. Well, there are not such concrete examples that one can give to say that we are rewriting history or overhauling the entire historical setup that is in our country. Like I think the only example that comes to my mind is the tinkering with the Mughal emperors, and what they are doing. They are also putting to light the atrocities that the Mughal emperors have committed, and including various other indigenous empires that India had, like the Vijayanagara Empire, in the history textbooks. So I can only think of those at the top of my mind.
So do you agree?
No, sir, I do not. Rewriting as such, rewriting not in a bad sense.
Okay.
Right. bringing to light some other uncovered aspects of the Indian history that were there. Maybe we can say that.
Okay. Second is regarding your family's connection with judiciary. What is your opinion on collegium system? And
Sir,
does it require any modifications? If yes, then what?
Sir, collegiate system as a system has developed due to some exigencies in the past, but it has worked relatively fine till now. Even Chief Justice of
When
India,
was it introduced?
Sir, in the 1990s.
Was it a part of the constitution?
No, sir. It was a judicial innovation.
Is it now a part of the constitution?
No, sir.
Okay.
So it has been formed by the judicial pronouncement in the first, second, third judges' cases. So, sir, I think there is a need to modify it because many eminent legal experts like Mr. Fali S. Nariman, and then there is Mr. Dushyant Due, and recently retired Shri Honorable Justice Sanjay Krishna Kaul, he also said there is some need to rectify the collegium system. So I think NJC that was passed by the government, that was a good step, but the Honorable Court had certain apprehensions about it. So I think if both of them can sit down at one place, sort out the differences and come up with a new system that would hold the judiciary a little more accountable to the people. So I think that would be a great thing. And what we can do in that regard is we can have equal number of judges and equal number of the central government officials with a veto with the Chief Justice of India in the collegium system.
Okay. My final question to you is about judicial overreach and judicial activism. How do you differentiate? And if you can give one example.
Judicial overreach and judicial. Okay. So, sir, judicial overreach. There was this recent example that was also criticized by some experts. So, during the COVID pandemic, the judiciary had gone into the domain of executive decisions and given directions to the central government how to supply oxygen to various parts of the country. So that could be counted as an example of judicial overreach. That is judiciary going into the executive domain. Then judicial activism is the application of principles of justice in such a manner as to do complete justice or to rectify some certain mistakes that could not be rectified otherwise. So, and one example of judicial activism can be the case of the Vishakha judgment that the Supreme Court had passed, because there was a lacuna in the workplace regarding prevention of sexual harassment. So what Supreme Court did, it enabled through the Vishakha guidelines an overarching legislation that could guide the prevention of sexual harassment at the workplaces.
Thank you.
Why you have opted out from some Group B services?
So, sir, in fact, sir, I only wanted to mark the first three services as my preference: IAS, IPS, and IFS. But then I had a very good senior, Mr. Saksham Goel. He is an IAS right now in Churu district of Rajasthan. So he said that no, you will have to do this. So I said, I am not going to fill in. You fill what you want. So I just left.
Honest answer.
According to him, said just leave those services
Have
out.
you done LLB?
Sir, I am in first semester. I only gone to some classes.
Okay. Okay, tell me, when the Britishers left India, so there was Imperial Civil Service, there was Imperial Police Service, all those services were there, Forest Service was there. So what happened exactly that the judicial services, instead of going through exam and all, direct recruitment started happening?
Sorry, so can you please repeat the last question?
Like, you see, for civil services, exam system was there,
Yes, sir.
right? Forest Service also, police was also there before when the Britishers left. Why in the judicial service no exam was recommended or no exam happened for recruitment to the higher judiciary?
I think because, sir, at the higher level of judiciary, there is a requirement of certain experience. So probably that's
Then
why.
experienced people can also give exam.
Like they do in the HJS and state judiciary. That's the thing, right?
What's wrong with that?
Maybe, sir, this is something we can look into. I'm not really sure, sir, about this. I'll read more about it when I get back home.
That was basically because judiciary, most of the seats became vacant because they didn't rely on Indians. So Britishers left en masse. And then the advocates were a large chunk within the political elite at that time.
Yes, sir.
So they moved on to judiciary.
Oh,
And then once having tasted the blood, then they continued with that. Right?
right.
Other places there were enough Indian officers to take over.
Hmm.
Anyway, what is the size of a swimming pool?
Sir, an Olympic size swimming pool is around 50 meters into 25 meters.
Okay. Can you tell some government scheme which has affected your life?
My life. Okay. So, sir, since my father is in the services, so there's this golden card scheme of state health services. So you can.
Government of India scheme.
Yeah, okay. Government of India scheme. So my whole education in the college, it was relatively subsidized by Government of India through the UGC and schemes as such.
No, you see, some government scheme, recent government. Anyway, how does Anshul make his payment now?
Through UPI. Yes, sir, UPI.
That has influenced your life?
Right, sir, a lot.
Okay. Now stand in the shoes of a tea vendor in the district court and see how his life has changed because of UPI.
Right, sir.
Tell.
So, sir, he just have to stick a QR code on his vending machine or on his stall, and he can just serve tea, and people will come and scan that thing, and the money will get transferred directly to his bank account. So he doesn't have to worry about handling cash. He doesn't have to worry about taking cash from people's hand. He can focus all his energy on making the tea. And when he has those transactions in the bank, he can also show those transactions to the bank and get a loan out of it. The PM Mudra scheme.
Okay, very good. There are two schemes which are applicable to a person like this. Which are the two schemes for street vendors?
PM Mudra scheme. Then there is one is PM Swanidhi scheme.
Yes, very good.
Anshul,
Yes.
your state is bordering another country.
Yes.
Which country?
So it is China. Well, it is Nepal and the Tibetan Autonomous Region of China, I would say.
So, what is the problem with Nepal that we are facing, which concerns your state?
So, sir, there's a district called Pithoragarh in our state. So there's a certain part of the district called the Kalapani area. So it abuts Nepal like a dagger. So it surrounds the Sudur Pashchim district of Nepal. So what is happening, it was written in Treaty of Sagali that was signed between the Britishers and the Gorkhas. So they said the Kalapani river would make the boundary between the two states. So what is happening, India claims that the river, the Mahakali river starts at the area of Kalapani, but the Nepal claims that river starts above Kalapani at a place called Limpiadura. So because of that, there are different perceptions regarding the boundaries of the state. And both the countries have historical records that they show that they have been taking taxes from that state, that it has been under our administration. So because of this, there was some bad blood between the two countries as well.
Maldives has been recently in news.
Yes.
Do you know how many islands are there in Maldives?
No, sir, I'm not well versed with the exact numbers.
What are some of the most important islands which are proposed to be developed for tourism? And recently, Pradhan Mantri suggested to develop a certain kind of tourism to Maldives. What was that?
So, sir, there's a group of islands in India called the Lakshadweep Islands, and Pradhan Mantri Shri Modi visited those islands and exhorted the people of India to come and visit those islands and develop those islands on the lines of Maldives. So we can have, snorkeling, we can have fish watching by going deep sea under driving. Then we can watch corals in those islands.
Yeah, and there was something else, a particular kind of tourism, he said, should be developed.
Yes, I'm not sure about that.
Wedding tourism.
What, sir?
Wedding tourism.
Yes, sir, wedding tourism. Yes.
Marry in India.
Marry in India.
Even, sir, in Uttarakhand during the
Destination.
During the Global Investor Summit, he came to our state and he also
That's
said
right.
that we can
That's
develop
right.
this area as well.
Okay, which state has been the first to work on the UCC?
Sir, it is our state, Uttarakhand.
And what are the provisions, main provisions?
Sir, one of the biggest, the mainstay is that it won't be applicable to the tribal districts,
Okay.
tribal areas, the
Good.
Jaunsar Bawa region, etc.
Hmm.
Then there would be equality for the women in all religions. So there will be no provision of polygamy. You can only marry one person.
All right. What is the difference between rock craft climbing and rock climbing?
So rock craft is an overarching term. So it includes climbing and rappelling. I've also written rappelling there. So rock craft is an overarching term. It includes climbing, rappelling, lowering, jumaring, etc. So sir, within rock craft, I have a particular interest towards climbing and rappelling.
Okay, last question. What is the rule of 70 in economics?
Rule of 70. 70 economics. No, sir, I have no idea. If you could give me some hint, maybe I can.
All right. How does a country develop? The easiest way to calculate the development of a country in terms of GDP is calculated by the rule of 70. Can you now make out as to how it works?
No, sir. I'm really
If
sorry.
any country is increasing at GDP is increasing at a certain rate, let's say 7%, then if you divide it by divide 70 by 7, you get 10. That means the GDP will double in 10 years.
Oh.
Okay, thank you.
You just said that UCC, the first state was Uttarakhand.
The one who is implementing it after the independence.
Are you sure? What
Sir,
about Goa?
Goa, sir, it had a UCC, but that UCC is pre-independence, and that UCC also suffers from certain directions. And
So the comprehensive UCC, as we understand. All right. Nainital, I mean, he studied there. I have so much attend. Can you explain the legend of Naini Devi,
Naini Devi.
and also what is this Kanchi Dham we hear so much about?
So, sir, starting with the Naina Devi, so it is written in our holy scriptures as well. When Mata Sati was immolated in the holy yajna that Daksh conducted,
Daksh
so
Prajapati,
Lord Shiva was carrying Sati Devi in his arms. So while going through places, he was really very angry. So what Lord Vishnu did, he asked his Sudarshan Chakra to go and cut the Devi's pieces into to cut the Devi's body into various pieces. So what happens, those pieces, and one of the pieces, the Nain of the Devi fell in Nainital, and the lake was created there. So that lake is the shape of a Nain, and it is also called a Shakti Dham. So that is the legend of Naina Devi.
So which place? Okay, quickly, Kanchi Dham kya hai?
Kanchi Dham, so sir, there was this really famous Baba called the Neem Karori Baba. He originally hails from UP, but then he built his ashram in Kanchi Dham. So it is it is considered as a magical place.
All right.
And there are many people like Steve Jobs and
All
Virat
right.
Kohli, they all visited.
Mata Parvati ke, you said
Mata Sati, sir.
Mata Sati, you're right. Mata Parvati ke Himal. Where exactly did her the reproductive organs fall?
Sir, it is in Kamakhya in Assam.
Very
It
good.
is one of the major Shakti peeths.
All right. Now you are from St. Stephen's, as am I. But most of the court judgments,
Yes, sir.
I mean, St. Stephen's is more famous now in the court records. Almost every odd judgment to do with the minority character of an institution can be linked back to some St. Stephen's College versus Union of India.
Yes.
Can you give me the connect to the recent AMU viewpoints which are going on? Take half a minute, quickly give me what's happening in AMU and why this big hullabaloo over it.
Sir, AMU wants itself a minority institution thing, but it doesn't have it because it was not established by the minorities. It was established through an act of 1927, and it also tried to
What
amend
was
that
it
act.
called? What was it called?
Sir, the act.
What was it called before it became AMU?
So it was Anglo-Mohammedan University.
At which point of, what was the inflection point when it stopped being a minority institution and why? And it's a legal question.
I think it was in 1967 in the Azima Bagh case, something like that. I don't remember the exact name. Azima.
Something happened earlier also. But anyway, okay. Then
Sir, the Supreme Court pronounced that it cannot be counted as a minority institution since
why? Yes.
since it was not established by the minority thing, it was established through an act under the British government.
Yes, under the British government. There's one more logic which they have said, and it has to do with government funding.
So I think Tushar Mehta had said that.
He has said something. That's his job to say something in the court. Okay, please read up about
Yes,
it,
sir, I'll
because
read
minority institutions. At what point of time was this 50%, more than 50% decided quickly against St. Stephen's?
I don't remember the exact date, but it was recently. I think after the judgment only.
No, way back. Please read up
Yes, sir.
about
I'll
it.
read about it now.
My last quick question is that in High Court of Nainital,
Yes, sir.
I mean, I don't understand. The capital is in Dehradun, High Court is here. Which other states have this kind of crazy arrangement? And is it crazy?
Sir, Assam has it. The High Court is in Guwahati.
And capital is also in Guwahati.
Yes, sir.
Capital is in Dispur, which is part of Guwahati.
Part of Guwahati.
Okay, okay, sir.
Which states does it happen? The town is, capital is somewhere else and the High Court is in another town.
Okay, sir, in Madhya Pradesh. Yes, sir, I think.
Tell me more.
Punjab and Haryana, the High Court is in Chandigarh.
So the capital is
So
also
capital is
Chandigarh.
also there.
Oh, sorry.
You're not getting the point.
Yes, sir, I get.
In your own,
In Uttar Pradesh,
Yes.
the Uttar Pradesh, the capital is Lucknow and the High Court
Allahabad
is
High
in
Court with a bench in
Allahabad.
So
UP.
Lucknow doesn't just has a bench. One more state,
That's right.
very famous of late also. Rajasthan.
Yes, sir,
let me
Rajasthan.
Let me not waste your time. All right. Thank you.